Hello and welcome. You're watching News Central Television. It's time for News Central now. I am Judith Atibi. Here are the top stories of this hour. The rights group SERAP sues President Tinubu over suspension of Rivers State Executive and Legislature. As Federal High Court approves Senator Akpoti-Aduoga's recall process, Amnesty International calls for probe of her harassment allegations. An Istanbul mayor arrested ahead of selection to run against Erdogan. Details shortly. And we'll begin with updates on Rivers' political crisis, where the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has taken President Bola Tinubu to court over what it calls the unlawful suspension of the Rivers State Governor, his deputy, and House of Assembly members. The 6-month suspension was announced while the president proclaimed a state of emergency in the state. SERAP argued that the decision violates constitutional provisions and undermines democratic governance. The lawsuit filed at the Federal High Court in Abuja on Friday was initiated by 3 members of SERAP's Volunteers Lawyers Network, SVLN, in Rivers State: Yera Biri, Israel Nulong, Nagim Igbo, Royal, and Gracious Eyo Sifompoko. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi and Vice Admiral Ibok-Ete Ibas, retired, have also been joined as defendants. Still with Rivers State, former President Godswill Akpabio, I'll take that again, former President Goodluck Jonathan has stated that the suspension of elected officials in Rivers State has tarnished Nigeria's image and could deter investment. Speaking at the Hasek Satumari Foundation colloquium in Abuja, Jonathan criticized key actors in the executive and legislative arms for actions that portray the country negatively. He emphasized that government's decision impact national perception and economic prospects. His remarks followed controversy over President Bola Tinubu's declaration of emergency rule in Rivers State and the 6-month suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara, Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu, and state lawmakers. Jonathan also condemned undue interference in the judiciary, stressing that such actions undermine public confidence in the legal system. He said he was compelled to speak after calls from concerned Nigerians. Still with Rivers State, where the sole administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibok-Ete Ibas, has advised the contractor handling the State Assembly Complex project to speed up work and deliver it as mutually agreed. Vice Admiral Ibas, retired, insisted that part of his mandate included restoring full and effective legislative activities in the state. The sole administrator gave the charge when he visited to inspect the ongoing reconstruction work on the new assembly complex located along Moscow Road in Port Harcourt local government area on Saturday.
I was appointed in the first place to be here to maintain law and order that will enable us go back to what the state is supposed to be. In the last 2 days, you're also aware that I had been at the executive arm of the state governance structure, and one of the pillars that is missing for now is the legislature, and for them to function effectively they also need a place to work from. Perhaps I'm here to be sure that work is going on as expected, so that by the end of the 6 months, this place will be ready for those who need to use it. I think basically that's what it is.
We'd like to know whether you will be pushing the contractor to ensure that it's within this.
They have a schedule and they have timelines that I believe they will adhere to. Okay. I think the state has done its own bit by providing the necessary funds. I was briefed, and so the onus is on them to make sure that they keep to the terms. Okay.
Thank you.
The ambition of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and zoning dispute are reportedly stalling negotiations among political leaders ahead of the 2027 election. It was reported that the zoning dispute and presidential ambition of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) chieftain comes amid the move to form an alliance to challenge President Bola Tinubu in 2027 intensifies. There has been a growing debate about whether opposition parties in Nigeria should unite to challenge President Bola Tinubu's administration. On Thursday, March 28th, opposition figures like Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and Nasir El-Rufai announced the formation of a coalition to oust President Tinubu in 2027 democratically. President Tinubu's party, the All Progressives Congress (APC), has been in power since 2015, the year the PDP, which led for 16 years, was sacked. And now to discuss this more, we are joined by political analyst Lateef Fagbemi. Mr. Fagbemi, many thanks for joining us and happy Sunday to you. I mean, let's just get started, shall we? Let me start by asking, how unlikely is a truly united opposition coalition?
Thank you very much. The people who are forming coalition, they are eternal enemies. They have no common grounds. They are based on the enemy of my friend is my enemy. And what is the objective? They want to take a slice of Nigerian cake. They are not interested in public interest at all. The coalition will unravel, it will dissolve eventually. Tinubu is not a small cake to handle. Money for money. Nobody can stand a sitting president with 1 million plus barrels of crude oil income coming per day. Since everything is based on money, the coalition is just a joke. It's just motion without movement.
And given Atiku Abubakar's persistent presidential bids and the history of internal PDP conflicts, what are the most significant hurdles beyond Atiku's ambition?
If it is 2027, his ambition is not going to work because the templates of the political class who have seized the sovereignty of the people is 8 years to the north, 8 years to the south. There has to be some calamity of great proportions for a northern Fulani to be president beyond 2027. So Tinubu has the template of zoning since 1999. On that basis, I don't think the South will surrender another 4 years, with Buhari having served his own 8 years for the North. On that extent, that oath alone is against Atiku. Secondly, the party has unraveled. PDP is a damaged vehicle, and they even have only 12 states. So all elements are not involved of Atiku to amount. Let them keep trying.
And then for figures like,
unless something calamitous happens.
You're right. And then for figures like Peter Obi and Nasir El-Rufai that are involved as well, what are the ideological or strategic differences that could fracture this coalition? How might these be mitigated as well?
Well, it's no in nature. You cannot stop trying. But El-Rufai is a damaged personality in Nigerian politics. It's a rolling stone that gathers no moss. Peter Obi is a good man, but he's turned out to be a very lightweight politician, the way things are. So, will Atiku now defect to SDP? What about Adebayo, who has been there in all these years running for president there? They are going to meet a formidable opposition inside SDP. And by the time PDP is fully damaged, can SDP harvest the debris? I doubt it very much. They are just waiting their time. But they have money, let them spend it. That's okay.
And how will the current economic challenges and social unrest in Nigeria influence voter behavior and the potential for a successful opposition challenge? Do you think Nigerians are ready to vote out the APC? Are the circumstances or the atmosphere primed enough for an opposition to take charge?
Nigerian politics today, sovereignty has been taken away from the people. The people has no consequence at all. The political class, through monetization, through hijack of power, through state capture, they can decide to turn valley to hill and hill to valley. Nothing will happen. Until the country is restructured, the constitution is changed to bring sovereignty back to the people, we need to remove 1999 constitution and change it to a parliamentary system. The winner take all system of one president is there, he controls all the monies, everything. Look at Tinubu's awarding contract without talking to anybody. The Senate is hijacked. Judiciary is compromised. So, regardless of what the people do, nothing will happen. But they will make enough mistakes. There will be no mistake by the political class that they will just fall down flat on their own. Then maybe the masses can now rise. When we continue the way we are now, we're in bondage. We're in bondage, absolutely.
You said that PDP is dead on arrival. You also said that everyone can see through Atiku's attempts for presidency. You said that Nasir El-Rufai is a rolling stone and Peter Obi is a red wire politician at best. So the question is there a chance for PDP? At least for even a state?
There is no chance for any governance system the way we have it now. We'll continue to wobble and fumble. We have been talking to society that the country needs to be changed. National constitution needs to be petitioned and a new people's constitution, a truly federal, decentralized power. Not everything Abuja has to take place. What will trigger it? It has to be some big tectonic force. It's not just talking. But I know they will make a mistake on their own. Like Rivers now. By the time the cool doy problem starts and fighting, something has to force the greater class to listen to the cries of Nigerians. I cannot see it yet.
And you're saying that you cannot see it yet. And also you're pointing to the potential consequences, you know, with the opposition fail if they unify, which is with all of you said all of them have ideological differences. They all seem very, very different, and so the opposition do not stand a chance. But what then will now be the potential consequences for stability in Nigeria? What if a parliamentary government doesn't happen? What happens to our democracy? Is it gone? Eradicated completely?
Look, I think about Congo. Congo has been in problems in 1962, since Lumumba was killed. They've not recovered up to today. The same thing can happen to Nigeria. We can be like for the next 20 years. Because it's just providential, it's just law. The political class will stumble. They will make mistakes. And then the people will seize control of the government. But they will not give power on their own because they are loaded with cash. And everybody is hungry. That's just, maybe it's too pessimistic, but that's the way I see it. I know God is on his throne. Something must happen, not through mathematical calculations, not through simple thinking, but we are ready for something calamitous to happen to the political class that will make them be humble, to respect the wishes of the people.
All right. I must say thank you, sir, for joining us and taking out the time to doing this with us today. Mr. Akin Fakbonda, he's a political analyst, to give us a bit of insight ahead of 2027 general elections. Once again, thank you. Let's go on a short break on this hour. When we turn to security as operatives have launched manhunt as gunmen demand 100 million naira for abducted naval officers. After the break, there is a story. Stay with us. And you're welcome back. Operatives launch manhunt as gunmen demand 100 million naira for abducted naval officer and others. Security operatives have commenced a rescue operation for a kidnapped official of the Defense Headquarters, Lieutenant Cynthia Ago, and 2 others in the Federal Capital Territory. It was reported that gunmen abducted her, which is Cynthia Ago, a Nigerian naval officer attached to the Defense Headquarters, along with 2 others. The victims were kidnapped from their residence in Mbappe area of the FCT on Friday night. It was disclosed that the kidnappers had contacted the families of the hostages, demanding a 100 million naira ransom for their release. The abduction has heightened concerns over the worsening security situation in the nation's capital as cases of kidnappings and violent crimes continue to escalate. The Osun State government has imposed a 24-hour curfew on Ifon, Ilubo, and Irin Osun communities following a resurgence of communal clashes. Governor Ademola Adeleke took the decision after an initial 12-hour curfew failed to contain the violence, which has forced many residents to flee. A statement from the governor's spokesperson, Olawale Rashid, also confirmed the deployment of a joint security task force and ongoing peace efforts between the warring communities. The governor assured residents of his administration's commitment to restoring security and has briefed the presidency on the situation. The state government also warned against the circulation of fake videos online, describing them as deliberate attempts to spread misinformation and incite fear about insecurity in Osun State. The Ekiti State Governor, Mr. Biodun Oyebanji, has restated the commitment of his administration to implementing education policies that are designed to meet society needs and equip students with practical skills for real-world challenges. The governor stated this in his office at the weekend while receiving a delegation from South Korea led by the Koika Deputy Country Director, who was in the state for an in-depth survey of the Smart School project in the state. According to a statement made available to journalists in Ado-Ekiti on Sunday, Governor Yebanji said his administration is strategically leveraging on smart technology in education to equip students with the needed skills. He said this is to ensure that graduates in the state are well prepared to tackle contemporary challenges and contribute to the overall development of the state and the country at large. Amnesty International has called for an immediate and impartial investigation into the sexual harassment allegation against Senate President Godswill Akpabio by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan. In a statement, Isa Sanusi, Amnesty International's country director for Nigeria, said the gravity of the allegations necessitates a thorough and unbiased probe, warning that inaction could have severe consequences. It said a blatant failure of the authorities to investigate the allegations raised by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan will have wider, devastating consequences that include perpetuating a system that makes it increasingly difficult for survivors of sexual harassment to get justice, while allowing perpetrators to get away with gross human rights violations. Akpoti-Oduaghan has maintained that a 6-month suspension from the Senate is an attempt to silence her. The legislator was suspended from the Senate on March 6th for gross misconduct following her sitting arrangement altercation with Akpabio. In the meantime, a federal high court sitting in Lokoja, Kogi State capital, has set aside an earlier ruling that restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission from receiving the recall process initiated by constituents of Kogi Central Senatorial District against Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan. The Federal High Court, in a landmark judgment delivered in Lokoja on Friday, affirms that the recall process is constitutionally valid and aligns with the civic rights of the constituents. The court urged the constituents to continue exercising their rights in an orderly and peaceful manner. The development was after the court on Thursday granted an interim injunction restraining INEC, its staff, its agents, privies, or assigns from receiving, accepting, or acting on any petition containing signatures of members of Kogi Central Senatorial District. The injunction, however, restrains INEC, its staff, and agents from receiving or accepting recall petitions with fake signatures and conducting any referendum based on such petitions. The case has been adjourned up to May 6, 2025 for further mentioning. Still on recall, a former member of the House of Representatives from Kogi State and People's Democratic Party stalwart Abdul Rahman Badamosi has dismissed the alleged collection of signatures for the recall of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan, calling it a fabrication by political mischief makers. Speaking in an exclusive interview with News Central Special Correspondent for Investigative Journalism, Marshal Anthony Onoye, Badamosi claimed that those pushing for the senator's recall are not genuine constituents or of Kogi Central, but hired mercenaries. Take a look.
Call or recall. Why? Because it is not the wish of the people. Despite the fact that they deceived the people for an empowerment program, which people later discovered, they have to back it up with maximum security force to be able to even get something. If you look at most of the videos going around, you see them inside the various houses, writing and signing the so-called recall. We saw it as an opposition party of PDP. We saw it as a charade. We saw it as something that will not go anywhere. It cannot stand the test of time. The first step is to collect signature attached to repetition to INEC. And INEC will now embark on verification of those signatures, if they are genuine. Thereafter, they will call for a referendum of yes or no. They are on their first stage, and we notice extreme fraud in the collection of signature. On that one, we'll wait for them in the verification exercise so that we expose it.
Injury in northwestern state of Katsina continues to wreak havoc on the society, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. Thousands have been displaced, livelihoods destroyed, and families torn apart. In the struggle to survive, many displaced women are forced into unimaginable choices, including sex work, as they struggle to keep themselves and their families alive. Rukaya Jabir has more on this. Take a look.
The crisis has escalated into a full-blown humanitarian disaster in Katsina State, with many villages raided, homes burned, and families scattered.
On the day they came to our village, they chased everyone. Everyone ran. My father was sick. He has no legs. He couldn't run. We left him behind.
When you kill a man in northern Nigeria, you kill a community, because you may discover that that person is having 3 wives and 15 or 17 children.
Armed bandits frequently attack rural communities, killing, injuring, abducting residents, and demanding large ransoms. Many families are forced to sell their belongings or borrow money to secure the release of their loved ones, plunging them into poverty. To escape the violence, people flee their homes and villages. The state, now home to over 173,856 IDPs, has no official camps, leaving displaced families to fend for themselves in overcrowded makeshift settlements.
When I arrived in Katsina, I tried to look for an IDP camp, but there was none. I was living on the streets. I later found a place near PDP office, but it was not convenient there.
The absence of formal IDP camps in Katsina means displaced individuals, especially women, lack access to organized humanitarian aid, including food, clean water, and medical care.
We met a situation whereby we don't have a record or data of the actual location of the IDPs, internally displaced persons. We don't have that. We didn't meet any data in regard to that. So we are faced with that challenge.
In their new environment, the crisis is even more dire. Many have lost their husbands, father, and brothers to the violence. With no family support, no education, and no job opportunities, they are left with few options to feed themselves.
I sleep everywhere because I don't know anyone. At times, we find it hard to eat. Many times, we have to go and beg for food.
Desperation drives many of these girls to sex work. To some, it's a last resort.
If we did not eat the whole day, we have to come out at night to look for food. Even if it is not much, at least the younger ones will have what to eat.
What do you expect from internally displaced persons who have no homes, have no jobs, have no one to support them, and they must eat?
This exposes them to significant risk, including violence, abuse, and social stigma.
I worked in a house. The woman normally goes to work and leaves me with her kids at home. When she leaves, the husband comes back asking me to sleep with him. He'll be touching me. I had to leave the house.
There are young girls amongst us. Most of them are lured with food by young boys. This really pained me because they are young. At least we are older, but those girls shouldn't go through this.
When you are faced with hunger, you have little options. Whatever comes your way as an option, you will definitely employ that thing, whatever it is, just so you can survive.
The cycle of poverty and vulnerability is hard to break. Without access to education, skills training, or sustainable livelihoods.
That can be a reason for many of them to now venture into sex hawking. So you can see the vicious cycle, from losing their fathers or their husbands to finding themselves cramped in a deplorable condition, in a squalor.
These women remain trapped in a system that offers little or no hope at all, making it difficult for them to rebuild their lives or secure a better future for their families. In Katsina, for News Central, Rukaiya Jibiya.
Communities in Borno State are grappling with a deepening water crisis as soaring cost and scarcity of clean water continue to hit hard on residents. The price of water has skyrocketed due to limited access to fresh water sources, exacerbated by recent flood and years of conflict. News Central's Umar Kirawa assesses the situation and now reports.
Struggle in search of water for these individuals in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital of Nigeria's northeast.
Ruwan nan yanzu haka an ce ya san lokacin nari naira 200 sa muke sayan ruwa. Wani waje ma in ya gagara to aka dan mana sauki tukun muna sayan naira 170 so da 50 so.
Dudande kamar krale za har loktu krai sai akojin kala andirin ji sautu sai rawala kariya mane dene ne. Kran har loktu krai sai akojin.
Tun karfe 7 muke zama nan. Ba ma samun ruwa sai 11 ko zuwa 12.
At Shehuri South in Maiduguri, a trip of 14 gallons of water cost 1,000 naira, 800 naira at GRA, 700 naira at Blunkutu, among other disparity in the cost of the commodity across the metropolis.
Kawukuru ambaliya da isinalan andero banna sirra kuma mara uniform duri ba duri montro le zaimbaw kurungawa adelan njide modaka de fande baw bofol de fande baw
ande banasa awshima de kuru andero sola de andero banasirin kuru kwaye bohol sola so ndien ande banasa nguronde la na sandana beji.
Some of the major streets, particularly during the morning and evening hours, witness large number of children struggling to fetch water.
Duri sanana dunan gaba jarka mayoral so mena aulado so ta nuski arsalade ai maso wanda imba njiri zo ala hidro gumnati ra kuno moda na school magardun goro so tutanariro.
A safe haven to most families here at London Chiki Alingoshe Unfortunately, the solar batteries and panels are also faulty, causing serious problem for the people to access water.
Gana kam soda bana bana tindo masalan be na da ma faina lan da la gana shidan ce zuna wala wa warzana ila wani lokaci yana zuwa lokaci ba zuwa ba to yanzu ba mu daga can anguwa mu dole muka tafi nan can ya yanke ne muka tafi nan muna neman ruwa muka anguwa mu.
For rural communities in both southern and northern parts of the state, the situation is even critical.
Chibok muna da matsalar ruwa sosai. Yanzu mu da kanmu haka da muka zo tun da yara suna gida ma bamu samu ruwa ko abinci bamu iya mun yi ba.
Effort to speak to the Borno State Ministry of Water Resources proved abortive. However, 11,629 million was allocated to the ministry for both capital and recurrent expenditures. The governor recently spoke on the intention to address the problem.
The assessment is ongoing also, but I want to assure the general public that we shan't speed up the process of the assessment.
While reconstruction and upgrade of Alo Dam has since begun, experts warn that without immediate action, the situation will worsen, threatening the lives and livelihoods of thousands of people. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
The global commemoration of Earth Hour has once again brought together climate advocates in Abuja, uniting in a symbolic gesture to protect the planet by switching off non-essential lights for 1 hour. The 60-minute activities have also featured a climate debate by secondary school students and solidarity songs aimed at encouraging citizens to adopt habits that conserve energy and safeguard natural resources. Our correspondent Edom Joseph has more on this.
The switching off of all non-essential lights from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. local time underscores the urgent need for energy conservation and heightened awareness of climate change through Earth Hour. Earth Hour, observed globally on the last or penultimate Saturday of March, serves as a reminder of the critical need to protect the environment.
Imagine the amount of energy that have been saved, and most importantly, the awareness that have been created. Because of this action, we've attracted thousands of people asking questions, and from asking these questions, we've educated them the importance of turning off the light, the importance of turning off running tap waters, reusing, recycling, and ensuring that people take little action that would connect around the world, that becomes the change we want to see.
In Abuja, climate advocates gathered to join millions around the world in marking the occasion by lighting candles in the shape of the number 60, representing the crucial 60 minutes of the hour, while also singing songs of solidarity for the earth. They emphasized that beyond switching off lights, Earth Hour symbolizes making long-term commitment to sustainability and environmental responsibility.
To us, Earth Hour is not only an hour during the day, it's an hour 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So it's an ongoing thing.
As the world continues to face the realities of climate change, the message remains clear that climate action requires consistent effort from individuals, communities, and policymakers alike.
We ensure that we recycle properly, as much as even reducing water. Let us not leave our taps running consistently. Turn it off if you're not using it. You know, anything single-use plastic, stop using it. And also say the word. We need to put out the word. That was the essence of this event this evening.
Everything we get comes from Mother Earth. The clothes I'm wearing, you know, the air we breathe comes from Mother Earth. What are we giving back? So again, for us is how we even supporting government to say, can we do away with plastic waste?
With advocacy growing stronger each year through initiatives like Earth Hour, climate advocates believe that consistent community engagement will help protect the planet for future generations. In Abuja for News Central, Edom Joseph.
We're going on a short break. When we return, there's more on the other side. Stay. And you're welcome back. And we continue this time all the way back to Rivers, where we have our correspondent Igbala Omoniyo on standby, who has just brought to us our very first sighting of Governor Siminalayi Fubara just a week after the announcement of the emergency rule in Rivers State and his suspension, 6-month suspension for himself, his deputy, and the elected members of the House of Assembly. Igbala, a very good afternoon to you and happy Sunday. You saw the governor. Tell me all about it.
Yes, the very big question that has come out of mouths of residents of Rivers State has been, where is our governor? Where is Governor Siminalayi Fubara? With rumors flying around that he went to Bayelsa State, he's with the governor in Bayelsa, and so many other rumors that we've heard. However, we caught wind of the information that he was worshiping at this church salvation ministry about a few hours ago, and by the time he got here, he was just stepping out. Unfortunately, we couldn't speak with him because he didn't grant audience. I guess he didn't want to comment on so many other things. However, we were able to confirm that the governor was here, and that is his first appearance since the state of emergency. So that puts to rest if the governor is in the state, if the governor is safe. I think that puts to rest those questions that the governor is actually safe. I spoke to a few of church members. I don't know if they will be willing, because they are trying to chase us away from this position we are right now, saying we need authorization. So that's why I'm trying to speed up. I spoke to church members that came from the church, how they felt about seeing their governor since this whole issue started, and they felt at peace that one, is safe, and two, that nothing is wrong with him, and that he's here, and it gives them some sort of hope. They, however, know that he didn't speak in church, he just came to worship. The governor himself didn't speak, but we're hoping to speak with more persons. Good afternoon, sir. Sir. Good afternoon, sir. I'm sorry I didn't let you take your drink. I just want to ask you one question. How did you feel seeing the governor in church today?
I feel very good, because it's the right thing that you have done to be in the presence of God today. Understand? Because what has happened to him, you need God. You really need God for intervention or whatever. Understand? This is the time for him to seek the face of God now. That is what I thought about it.
With someone new now in the helm of affairs, that is the sole administrator in the helm of affairs, and you're seeing your governor, does this give you hope that things might change, or things will probably just remain the way they are right now?
Things will definitely change. There is nothing impossible with God. Understand? No matter how men think in their heart, but no matter what anybody God have blessed, nobody can curse it. No matter how what government have said, government have tried to, should I say manipulation or whatever, understand, if I'm mistaken. But if the will of God is something that the will of God will be done, must be definitely to be done. Understand? So that is it.
Your name, sir?
My name is Christopher.
Christopher, what's that?
Raymond Okorafo.
Thank you very much, sir. You've heard it from one of the church members of Salvation Ministry. They're just happy to see their governor. Earlier, if we had seen... okay, so thank you very much. I think we have someone here that wants to speak. Ma, please, let's move away from the church, because they're about to just... 1 minute, please. Just one. She's your church member. I apologize. All right, let's no, come to this side, please. Come to this side. Let's just face this side. I apologize. We're having issues with the protocol officers here. How did you feel? What's your name? Let's start with your name.
My name is Official Oma Chukwemeka, and Oma the Joy Giver on Facebook. Okay.
All right, awesome. How did you feel seeing your governor? You're a resident of Rivers State, I believe. How did you feel seeing your governor in church today?
I'm so happy, and seeing a wealthy man coming to church, and that's automatically wins souls for Christ. That's it. So I feel so happy seeing him coming to church, and that's good.
Do you think his presence now puts to rest a lot of rumors about, oh, the governor is not safe, and so many other things that you've heard since the state of emergency in this state? Do you think it's going to change anything now that he's here?
As long as he came to church, like he is in church today, every other thing that is being held against him is being cleared. Like he's free, he's safe, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Every other thing, every other allegation.
Settled. Every other thing is settled.
If you please, who settled it?
God have settled it automatically. That is me.
All right. Thank you very much. We heard it. They're saying allegations, falsehood, or whatever, allegedly against the governor has been settled. And one of the church members said, by God. We need to leave here right now because we're having a lot of issues with the protocol officers here. But we can confirm that the governor was here earlier today. And in fact, all those places were packed with the security officers. And we can confirm he still had the security details with him. Over to you, Judith.
Well, Igbalani, many thanks. We appreciate you. Let's let you go so the protocols in church don't sweep you away and the cameras. But thank you, and we'll definitely come back with you for more updates there. But that's Igbalani Omoniyi live from Port Harcourt, the Salvation Ministries Church, giving us the first glimpse, which is the first sighting, public sighting of Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his security details after his 6-month suspension announced on Tuesday. Let's continue the news, shall we? And this time we'll head to Southern Africa, where the expelled South African ambassador to the U.S., Ibrahim Rasool, received a great welcome by crowds at the airport in Cape Town on Sunday. Ibrahim Rasool returned to Cape Town after being booted out by the Trump administration 9 days ago for making remarks it perceived to be unacceptable. On Thursday, South Africa's presidency appealed to supporters not to engage in any activity that may be perceived to be inflammatory and worsen already strained relations with the U.S. Rasool was given just a week to leave the U.S. without an opportunity to explain his remarks delivered at a seminar in the Mbakobwe Institute. South Africa also says it would not rush into deciding on a replacement for its U.S. mission.
It was not our choice to come home, but we come home with no regrets. I want to say that we would have liked to come back with a welcome like this if we could report to you that we had turned away the lies of a white genocide in South Africa, but we did not succeed in America with that.
A Turkish court formally placed Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu under arrest as part of a craft investigation on Sunday after a 4th night of mass protests sparked heavy clashes with riot police. The decision was confirmed by one of İmamoğlu's lawyers, with the court also due to rule in a second terror-related probe into the popular opposition mayor, whose detention has sparked Turkey's worst street protest, in over a decade. The news came as voters cast their ballots in a primary to name İmamoğlu's the party's candidate for the 2028 presidential race. The long-planned vote was the event which triggered the arrest of the opposition mayor, who is widely seen as the only politician that is capable of challenging the sitting president.
Gerçekten hukuksuzca bir tutuklama. Maalesef ülkede artık adaletin olmadığı ortada. Ekrem Başkan yalnız değil. Biz burada her zaman ona destek veriyoruz. İstanbullu olarak. Geleceğin Cumhurbaşkanı da yapacağız inşallah. En kısa zamanda tutukluluk süreci bitecek. Biz buna inanıyoruz. En kısa zamanda kendisini Cumhurbaşkanı yapacağız.
Bundan sonra eylemler mutlaka devam edecektir ama şiddet içerikli hiçbir zaman olmayacak. Hakkımızı sonuna kadar arayacağız. Artık Türk milleti de uyandı. Uyandığı için de Türk milleti hiçbir zaman eğilmez, bükülmez.
Vallahi polisle karşı karşıya gelmek istemiyoruz. Kanuni yoldan, Büyük Millet Meclisi'nde tepkiler neyse biz vatandaş olarak, halk olarak bunu göstereceğiz her zaman. Yani oyumuza...
Pope Francis's doctors have confirmed that he is set to leave Rome's Gemelli's Hospital on Sunday and return to his Vatican residence, where he's expected to spend at least 2 months in recovery. The 88-year-old pontiff has been hospitalized since February 14th due to breathing problems and has battled pneumonia in both lungs. Despite his condition, the Vatican has stated that Pope Francis has intended to waive and offer a blessing from the hospital before his discharge. Meanwhile, Dr. Sergio Alfieri has also confirmed that the Pope will continue his recovery at St. Martha's House in the Vatican. And that's all we can take at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Rights group SERAP has sued President Tinubu over suspension of Rivers State Executive and Legislature. As Federal High Court approves Senator Akpoti-Oduaga's recall process, Amnesty International has called for a probe over harassment allegations. And we also told you that Istanbul mayor has been arrested ahead of selection to run against Erdogan. As always, remember that you can send us your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number now showing on the screen. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on social media. We're at News Central TV on all social media platforms. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422. You can also find us on GoTV channel 23, on Star Times channel 274, on Avo TV, or better yet, just stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith TV. Bye for now.